I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The judge overseeing the New York City civil fraud trial against former President Trump has tossed the defense request for a mistrial.
Justice Arthur Engoron has thrown out a bid by attorneys for former President Donald Trump for a mistrial, the judge calling the request, quote, utterly without merit. The Trump legal team had claimed that the judge and his law clerk showed bias in the case. The former president, his company, and executives, including his two eldest sons, are being sued in a $250 million lawsuit brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who accuses them of inflating Trump's net worth on financial statements for loans. The trial is one of several legal issues for the former president. Another is an election interference case in Georgia, where in a court filing on Friday, prosecutors requested a trial start date of August 5th, 2024.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers in New York City. A massive pro-Palestinian demonstration at Union Station in Washington, D.C.
The Friday evening commute is a mess because hundreds of those pro-Palestinian protesters are trying to shut Union Station down. The sign, stand with Palestine in the occupation. A few hundred of the protesters have turned out here a few hours ago. They're loud, they're chanting, and we've got police setting up barricades and monitoring the entrance, keeping the protesters out.
Fox's Griff Jenkins at Union Station in Washington, D.C. At Penn Station in New York City, hundreds of protesters are blocking some of the entrances to the major transit hub, causing chaos for commuters. Federal health officials are warning consumers to not eat certain whole and cut cantaloupe and pre-cut fruit linked to an outbreak of salmonella. At least 43 people in 15 states have gotten sick, including 17 who were hospitalized. Several brands are affected, including Malachita brand whole cantaloupe, Vineyard brand pre-cut cantaloupe, Aldi whole cantaloupe, and pre-cut fruit products. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An officer-involved shooting. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending this hour. IMPD officers were trying to find a suspect with a warrant Friday afternoon.
Shortly before 5 o'clock p.m., IMPD officers attempted to stop a subject near 16th and Arlington who was wanted for multiple warrants, or a warrant with multiple offenses, I should say.
IMPD Lieutenant Shane Foley. After a short pursuit, their suspect pulled over near Ruskin at Richards, and a passenger in the car ran away. Foley says the passenger is who was involved in the police shooting, and a gun was found nearby as of Thursday evening. Police say the passenger is in critical condition. Temperatures will start to and keep cooling down after Thanksgiving next week. Ryan Hedrick explains.
It's going to be a little cooler than it has been this weekend. On average, we're still above normal for this time of year.
I mean, we've been above normal the last several days, so we're really just cooling back to kind of near normal levels over the weekend. Mike Ryan of the National Weather Service says by next week a system comes in and it will bring well below average temperatures. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Thanksgiving is always a busy time of year for your local nonprofit.
In Indianapolis, it's the Moselle Sanders Foundation looking for help. I'm Donnie Burgess. The foundation helps prep thousands of hot meals for people in need every Thanksgiving holiday, but sometimes extra help in the kitchen is hard to come by. You can check out volunteer times and dates at mosellesanders.org. Third shift is where they need the most help. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
As we make our way towards Friday evening, skies will start to clear out. Temperatures will drop into the low 30s, and winds will be out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour with a sunny but cooler Saturday ahead of us. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis, 493 WIBC.
With the holidays upon us, the increase in traveling, shopping, and connecting online also heightens the need to protect your identity and finances with LifeLock. Identity thieves see this time of year as an opportunity to drain your accounts, open new loans in your name, and damage your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to threats you might miss on your own. Don't let the busy holiday season catch you off guard. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. $577 for service today.
Terry Stacy here. It's holiday time, and that means honey baked ham. Slow smoked for 24 hours, spiral sliced for easy serving, then fire glazed right in the store to create that sweet, crunchy glaze they're famous for. Honey Baked makes it easy to serve family and friends the best with holiday meal bundles that include turkey or ham, delicious sides, and decadent desserts. Taste the Honey Baked tradition with 2 Central Indiana locations, West 96th Street and Michigan Road, and East Greyhound Pass in Carmel.
When you gather together this year, let Bob Evans give you more time to celebrate with a premium farmhouse feast. Just heat, serve, and enjoy. Order yours now at bobevans.com.
459 Barber Lounge, the #1 choice for men's haircuts in Indiana on 86th Street across from the Fashion Mall. 459online.com. Tell them Tony Cat sent you.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
This is the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Good evening and welcome to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC. You know the drill. Let's get right to the news. So, first of all, it appears that while Chairman Xi Jinping of China, while he's been gallivanting around San Francisco, had himself a little soiree with the major corporate executives and lobbyists in the United States. So that's always super duper. The House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party listed a group of elite American executives dining with the genocidal communist Xi Jinping last night for $40,000 a plate in San Francisco. Now, we'll be talking a little bit later in the show about certain plate expenses, but I don't think Applebee's charges $40,000 a plate. Here are some of the people that hung out with, Chairman Xi, the genocidal dictator. Tim Cook of Apple. You've got the head of Blackstone and the head of BlackRock, Larry Fink. Merritt Janau of MasterCard. You have Darius Adamczyk of Honeywell, just in case you wanted your HVAC systems to be run by a communist dictator. You've got Hock Tan, who leads Broadcom Incorporated, major NASDAQ guy there. Daniel O'Day from Gilead Sciences. And, of course, Ming Hsieh from Fugilant Genetics. And, oh, goodness gracious, it's absolutely terrifying to see this in any way, shape, or form. Why we're allowing a communist dictator onto American soil is certainly something, but, having a private meal where you chat about future strategies and exploiting child labor out of China, like, Tim Cook of Apple does, I don't know. I personally have a bit of an issue with that. You know what GOP presidential candidate is kind of on the same train? That's right. Everyone's favorite South Carolinian, Nikki Haley. And, oh boy, just a little bit more, because Nikki Haley, just God bless her, she's not doing too hot right now. Because a couple of days ago, she did an interview with the Ruthless podcast with Comfortably Smug, and also did a segment on Fox News in which she said that one of her first orders of business, if she were to be elected president of the United States, is to, let's see, how did she put this? Require everyone to state their full name, their full legal name, with a government ID before they participate in social media. So that Orwellian nightmare is just, shooting straight up into the stratosphere. And she was called out on it quite a bit. And here's what backtracking sounds like after literally she had donors threatening to pull out.
This is not about government getting involved in anything. I never said that we wanted government in anything.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts.
A huge issue that I'll deal with as soon as I get there is social media.
First of all, it's a national security threat.
This is a national security threat.
Social media has become a national security issue. Every person on social media should be verified by their name.
Verify every single person on their outlet, and I want it by name.
Every person on social media needs to be verified. We need to know exactly who they are, and they need to show their own name.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so funnily enough, one of the podcasts that she advocated for this theory on, run by a guy named Comfortably Smug, is a semi-anonymous account on Twitter. And they looked at her and said, you know, are you also going to, like me, like all people who have anonymous accounts? And she said, well, if your driver's license reads Comfortably Smug, then that will be allowed. It should be mentioned, by the way, that Nikki Haley's name on her driver's license is not Nikki for Nikki Haley. So great things there. And people kind of wondered why. It was like really out of left field for Nikki Haley to be, you know, kind of suddenly jumping into the whole kind of China social media dictatorship style of campaigning. And then we found out a little bit more. This is from Tara Servatius over on X. Tuesday morning, Nikki Haley met with BlackRock CEO and World Economic Forum member Larry Fink to raise money. And by that afternoon, she was pushing the World Economic Foundation's latest pet project by requiring people to get verified digital IDs to access the internet and social media. The World Economic Forum just hosted a large conference in which they made one of their top priorities making sure that every single account is verified by a person, you know, so the government that you're reporting on knows who to go after. So stellar, selling your soul out. And again, this isn't the first time that Nikki Haley has played a little too close to the cards with China. She was just called out for this by both Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis in the last debate. Getting DeSantis and Ramaswamy to agree on anything is something special. Here's a little bit about what that looked like. Actually, we might have a little of that for you later on in the show because we're running a little short in this segment. We have to talk about some more breaking news today. Something that's, something that's pretty special. You see, Speaker Johnson, when he was elected, everyone freaked out. Everyone thought, oh my goodness, oh no, the horror, the terror, the absolute the insanity. He's going to be this conservative dictator. And there were some detractors on the right that said that he was just going to be another McCarthy. We never heard of this guy. He's already signing deals with Democrats. Oh, he's just going to be just as bad. And then Speaker Johnson pulled one of the most brilliant moves of all time and did something that Kevin McCarthy has not. He released the full January 6th tapes from the U.S. Capitol. And he's started releasing those. They'll be releasing over a period of the next few weeks. And I got to tell you, it's looking just like what a lot of Republicans have been saying. Like what Representative Jim Banks was saying, that yes, there were some moments of violence. Yes, people should not have been in the Capitol on January 6th. But then you have moments like this. Moments where photographers are jumping into the building ahead of the protesters and getting action shots of police officers jumping through the windows like they're in serious danger. So in case you didn't see that, check it out again here. So first you have the photographer. She tells the cop to come in through the window like he's running from the protesters. So he comes in, she gets the action shot for social media. And then, like nothing happens. So in case you guys are wondering why no one trusts the legacy media and no one trusted the January 6th Commission, that's why. Because just as there were a lot of gross moments, there were also a lot of moments in which there was not a massive riot of violence and insanity inside the Capitol. Not like the pro-Hamas protesters inside the DNC. And I got to tell you, the pro-Hamas situation in this country is getting just a little spicier. Because what have the pro-Hamas individuals been chanting for the last couple of weeks? Oh, we need a ceasefire. There just needs to be a humanitarian pause so that we can get food and medicine into Israel and into Gaza. This is so important. All those Israelis are hurting those poor Gazan civilians. And so Israel agreed to humanitarian pauses. They announced them hours in advance, and they stick to a very specific clock. And Hamas has already broken the ceasefire agreements during the hours. It took exactly one ceasefire, and Hamas was already firing at least 60 rockets into Israel. So looks like Hamas doesn't actually want that ceasefire after all, and Israel has every single right to make sure that Gaza is completely removed from Hamas. That is a threat that has to be dealt with. Politico reported that the 4-hour pauses in operations in Gaza has already seen multiple disruptions by the Hamas militia. And in America, we're seeing continual Hamas-style protests, very special and spicy stuff there, like a pro-Hamas protest in front of Amtrak's Union Station in Washington, D.C. this afternoon, who reported that due to First Amendment-related events, customers are encouraged to allow extra time to get to Washington Union Station aboard their train. So this is just like mostly peaceful protests, just like in 2020, where pro-Hamas individuals intimidate and beat Jews that are walking down the street. Amtrak, the federally funded government train system, they're going to just call those First Amendment activities. So well done, everyone. Up next, we're going to be talking with Josh Hammer and going into just a little bit behind the mess when he spoke for the Young America's Foundation at University of Michigan last night. You are listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
We feel.
Do you feel like we do? Feel it as soon as you step out the door.
What you feel.
Bundle up. Feels like winter.
Could be more like summertime.
Do you feel like we do?
All the feels.
It feels a little like winter.
Feels more like summer.
Of fall.
It's kind of the clash of two seasons.
Weather. When you need it.
The ebbs and flows this time of the year is so evident.
On your official fall weather station. 93 WIBC.
So I have been in the operating room most of my career, watching people have orthopedic surgery, watching people get knees replaced, hips replaced, shoulders fixed, and I knew there had to be a better way.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain relief.
I see so many people who could have been helped before they got to the operating room if only they had known about regenerative medicine.
QC Kinetics, a natural alternative that uses your body's own healing properties to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing long-lasting relief without drugs, surgery, or downtime.
Well, it feels great when I do get to see somebody who we help, who I know I kept out of the operating room. It's amazing how we change people's lives without surgery.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
The next generation of streaming is here. Introducing Spectrum One Stream. Get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, including advanced Wi-Fi, and one unlimited mobile line free for 12 months. And when you add Spectrum TV, get a Xumo Stream Box free for 12 months. Spectrum One Stream. It's streaming simplified. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's JMV and the Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden Holiday Open House is this Saturday and Sunday. Both locations will have samples, door prizes, giveaways, and holiday decor. While you're there, take advantage of their Holiday Open House sale. The Holiday Open House this Saturday and Sunday. Sundown Gardens at 186th and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135 in Bargersville, just south of Whiteland Road. Miss M's Home and Garden.com.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over support for care their way, so they can live life their way. The program begins in summer of 2024. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Life is all about enjoying the little moments. Don't miss out on them because of unexpected heart issues. At Community Health Network, you receive heart care you can trust. From simple screenings to life-saving diagnostic and interventional cardiology services, we offer it all, so you can get back to the moments that matter. Learn more about our services at ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care simply delivered.
We're the Hellsberg Wedding Band, and whoa, look at that ring. Boy, is she fancy dancing with that ring. Everybody checking her dancing with that ring. Disco ball on a finger, dancing with that ring. Honestly, nobody's dancing because they're just staring at that ring. This holiday season, save up to 50% off select engagement rings and wedding bands of the highest quality. Visit a Hellsberg near you or hellsberg.com and she'll be dancing with that ring. Ha!
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Refresh, restore, and protect your home. Call Zero-Res to clean the right way so services stay cleaner longer without harmful chemicals. ZeroResIndy.com or 388-5141.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit IndyHumane.org.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
This is the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC, joined this evening by Josh Hammer. He's the senior editor-at-large at Newsweek and the syndicated host of the Josh Hammer Show, which is a great listen if you haven't picked it up just yet. But he's also a guy who understands that if you want to have some really good entertainment any day of the week, you got to go speak at a college campus, because when it comes to just the best comedy around, get yourself some campus college protesters. Josh, how's it going?
Tony, I appreciate the very kind introduction. You know, it's been an eventful week and happy to join you.
I got to hear a little bit about what these protesters, I talked to you a bit before you went to Michigan yesterday. I was like expecting any kind of protesters. I know the Hamas crowd's been, well, you know, the Hamas crowd. And I guess you got a little bit of a welcome reception. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was at University of Michigan last night to speak on the conflict in the Middle East. The title of the talk was Israel's Righteous Fight Against Jihadism, which, you know, gives away my stance on this conflict. And we anticipated that there would probably be some trouble. After all, this is Michigan. There's a huge Arab community in Michigan, towns like Dearborn. So, you know, we had security ready to go. There were metal detectors. But unfortunately, I'd say within the first 2 to 3 minutes of me talking, probably 25 people or so that were all coordinated in terms of what they were wearing, what they were looking like, just stood up and then put their hands in the air. And at first I was like, okay, like if this is actually as far as they're going to go, then that's probably not a huge deal. The problem was only a few minutes later, they started coughing. They started obnoxiously coughing as soon as I opened my mouth to talk. And then the coughing soon gave way to all the predictable chants, free, free Palestine, you know, all the typical garbage that you hear. And, you know, the tragedy, Tony, is that the university police and administrators on hand were ridiculously slow to act. That was my frustration. The students did nothing wrong whatsoever. YAF did a great job hosting this event. But
as they usually do.
They do great work. But the administrators, I mean, they caved to the heckler's veto for a solid 25, 30 minutes. I mean, eventually I finished the talk, but there was a half-hour disruption in the middle. And that's kind of what I'm a little frustrated about.
Yeah, because people don't realize how disrespectful, of course it's disrespectful to you, but, you know, guys like you and I were used to that kind of treatment. It's more so disrespectful to the people that came to hear you speak. Exactly. And I don't mean the protesters, but the people who drove, 50, 60, 70 miles because they listen to your show. They see your work, they read your stuff. We publish a lot of your columns over at the Daily Signal. They come to hear what you have to say, and they can't because of all this childish behavior. I just wrote an article for the Signal today, actually talking about the MIT pro-Hamas protest, which blocked students from getting into classes. And it's at what point do you realize that you're embarrassing your movement? I mean, forget about what the movement stands for just a second, but you're embarrassing your movement by how you're protesting on behalf of it. It doesn't make them look good.
I mean, it says everything that you need to know. I mean, at some point last night, the protesters threw their hands into the air and their hands were covered in red.
I'm sorry, I got to stop you for just a quick second. So they threw their hands into the air, and I'm not, not just like light jazz hands or maybe a light Pentecostal service. I mean, like arms up, armpits exposed. Was that?
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, the people in the back totally could not see. So that's obnoxious in and of itself. But their hands were covered in red. And I didn't actually realize this at the moment, but I think the point that they were trying to make, there was this infamous photo from a while ago. I think it was 2000 or 2001. It was just after the second intifada from Yasser Arafat was launched. There's this infamous photo of this Palestinian man in the West Bank who was at a window with his two red hands pressed against the windowsill. And his hands are red because two IDF soldiers had just taken, tragically, a wrong turn. And the Palestinian jihadists literally chopped up the bodies of the IDF soldiers and tossed around the body parts like they were a hot potato. And this image of him kind of bragging to the crowd with his red hands went viral on media at the time, 22 years ago or whenever it was. And, I typically try to assume the best of people, Tony,
Sure.
but in a situation like this, it's hard to. And I would not be surprised, frankly, if that's why last night that they had their hands in red. Just disgusting stuff all around, frankly.
I mean, it really is. And especially in the heart of the Midwest. And I know that, again, you travel all over, but I like to think that there's kind of a hospitality and a wholesome nature that goes with the Midwest that our universities just like to, for lack of a better term, to defecate on. And it really incenses me because these are the same individuals that kind of led a lot of Jewish people to believe over the last couple of decades, hey, we've got you. We're your best bet for safety and care and concern. And yet all of a sudden, when this, conflict broke out, it seems that a lot of Jewish students and a lot of those advocating on behalf of Israel have been tossed under the bus and under the bus load, quite honestly, just because of the weight of some of these comments. I try to distance myself when I'm doing a lot of reporting, just so that I can focus on writing all of the details that are being spit out at you, 30 different details a minute. You're just trying to capture it all down. But the weight of the fear that a lot of these students are feeling on campus, just because these pro-Hamas protests that go through the street, like at Cooper Union in New York, and they were beating on the doors of the library to get access to the Jewish students, or at MIT or at University of Michigan or wherever you are in the country. I'm starting to wonder why on earth we're seeing such a lag from kind of the general populace in its willingness to kind of throw this stuff out. And I don't mean like lawmakers, but I mean like there is this weird lag in time that we've seen over the last couple of days where the attacks are still going on and domestically, yet kind of the fact that the war is happening is starting to get old. It's starting to leave a lot of the media. And I don't know, man, it's really throwing me for a loop, if I can be transparent.
I've had some version of this conversation, Tony, many times over the past 6 weeks or so. I mean, folks like you and I, we do this for a living. We see the intersectional woke left for what they are, this whole, neo-Marxism of hierarchies of oppression and whatnot there. And even for someone like me who is steeped in this and is fairly cynical and fairly jaded at this point, even I have just been totally gobsmacked, frankly, by the sheer level of depravity that we have seen over the past 6 weeks or so since that very dark Sabbath of October 7th, the Hamas Holocaust of 2023, if you will. I mean, we saw in Princeton University people openly chanting to gas the Jews. This is Princeton University. I mean, that is ranked the #1 university in America virtually every year by U.S. News and World Report. You mentioned Cooper Union. Cooper Union is a very disproportionately Jewish school in New York City, which is a very large Jewish population. Obviously, the NYPD had to evacuate those students from an underground tunnel. I mean, this is America in the year 2023, for God's sake. I mean, thank God nothing remotely approximating that happened to me last night in Michigan, although a police officer did, after the police messed up by not kicking the protesters out, that he at least kindly walked me personally to my vehicle afterwards to get the heck out of there. But it's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. And unfortunately, Tony, the only way to match this kind of show of intimidation is with power. And that means repercussions. That means that we have to use all means available, whether it's litigation, whether it's enforcing university speech codes, whether it's taking career repercussions, kind of like we saw with Bill Ackman and Ken Griffin with the Harvard letter. Right. All repercussions have to be on the table to keep these miscreants accountable.
And I think that's honestly the silver lining, if there is one, from the last 6 weeks, is that you've seen a lot of obviously, a lot of legislators are really starting to push forward. I think of Mike Lee, who's just like, throw the book at him.
Right.
And same with Marco Rubio, just like throw the book at him. And, I really enjoy that because it seems, a lot of politicians are realizing, again, it's an 80-20 issue, regardless of the fact that there's a moral correctness to the response. But I've also been impressed by the number of donors that have just like completely yanked funding. I think of University of Pennsylvania. I think of Harvard. I think of a few more here in a couple of weeks with some reports that we're working on. And in some of these cases, not all, even after universities have given kind of a lukewarm response, oh, no, don't take the money, please. No, we'll stop things. The donors are saying, OK, prove it, and then we'll reconsider. I got to tell you, I kind of like that chutzpah. It really does smack of taking some things seriously that haven't been taken seriously for decades.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way out. I wrote a column early this year, back in like April or May. I think it was around the time of the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light stuff, and the title of my column was "The Only Way Out Is Through." And I didn't coin that phrase. I can't actually remember where I first heard it from, but it's this notion that you're not going to kind of glad hand or talk nice your way out of this. Now, when it comes to the Israel-Hamas conflict, this is actually a good example of that. I mean, I kind of began my talk by just giving like a history of the conflict. I was talking about international law, like the San Remo Conference in 1920, all this stuff that, in theory, a good university like the University of Michigan, the students should actually care to learn that history.
Absolutely.
But you can't, you can't reason with these people because it's just not about the facts, Tony. It's not about logical reasoning. It's not about actual, A plus B yields C, like formal logic. That's not what this is about. This is about passion and force and ultimately repercussions and lawfare. And those are the tools of the trade. And this notion of just throwing everything we got at them, short of actual violence, although it's worth noting that the ones who are resorting to actual violence are, of course, their side, not ours. We saw that earlier this week outside the DNC headquarters in Washington, D.C., where you saw a police officer essentially just get sucker punched by a pro-Hamas protester. Funny how none of that actually happens at the pro-Israel rallies, right? Which was a genuinely peaceful rally of 300,000 people on Wednesday. But all options short of violence, which I would never in a million years call for, but all options short of that have to be on the table to try to rectify it and remedy the situation.
I think you're absolutely right. Josh Hammer, I really appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for coming. And more than anything, I'm just glad that you're safe after hopping into Michigan with your YAF speech.
Thanks so much, Tony. I appreciate it.
You were listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
My little brother's friends have been camped out at our place for 2 days straight. 3. It's because of the Xfinity 10G network. Internet that can handle a house full of screens at once, with basically no interruptions. And it's only getting faster. When I was their age, internet like this was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Please go home.
The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through December 21st, new customers can get 75 megabit internet on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $20 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service. Actual speeds vary.
Everyone is talking about Galaxy concrete coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Dennis.
In the process of refinishing my garage and, trying to turn it into a man cave. So I started searching, online, and I ran across Galaxy.
Galaxy concrete coatings is not epoxy. It's better.
First thing I wanted to do initially is I wanted to repair where the concrete had eroded. They said they could do that. I said, well, heck, let me go ahead and get the entire floor covered.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a 15-year warranty.
They were so courteous and respectful of the home and the property. And when they're done, they cleaned up, picked up, swept up. It was like they were never there.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
I would recommend Galaxy over any other competitor, hands down. You're going to be taken care of and you're going to be satisfied. These guys know what they're doing.
Basements get a bad rap. Probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Thanks to screenwriters, crawl spaces aren't very popular either. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. And their French drains, vapor barriers, and encapsulation techniques turn crawl spaces into a Disney set. Yeah, okay, that probably went a bit far. But with over 35 years experience, they have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Think Michaelis. And think how nice it would be to get rid of foundation cracks, basement leaks, damp smells, and all the nightmares that come with them. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hi, it's Bob from Royal Spa. Did you know you can experience the ultimate rejuvenation with our unique hot tubs made right here in Indianapolis? Royal Spa hot tubs are the only hot tubs compatible with Epsom salts. Imagine the tensions melting away as you step into the luxury of a Royal Spa hot tub. And now is a great time to invest in your rejuvenation. We built our inventory back up and now have new models, scratch and dents, and even demos ready for delivery. Experience the difference for yourself. Visit us online at royalspa.com.
Ah, Royal Spa. You only have one heart, so let's keep it near everyone it beats for. Franciscan Health is leading the way as the only hospital in Indiana to be recognized as one of HealthGrade's 100 best hospitals for cardiac care and coronary intervention in 2024. We're delivering award-winning heart care in your neighborhood near everyone you love because our greatest reward is caring for you. Learn more about our compassionate, patient-focused approach to heart care. Visit us at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
It's Black Friday at B Window. Up to 52% off, plus 10% in manufacturer rebates on all products for a limited time only. Go to bwindow.com today.
It's the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
I'm just a curbside prophet with my hand in my pocket and I'm waiting for my rocket to come. I'm just a curbside prophet.
We have to talk for just a moment about how many times we have to learn the lesson that you don't look up to celebrities. You just don't stop looking up to celebrities. On the left and the right, someone in Hollywood who acted in a show in the 1980s does not qualify them to be some brilliant mind in politics and philosophy and economics and foreign policy. Quit it. Stop. You don't have to do it. I promise. And because I promised, I'm going to deliver a few reasons why, because we have to go through this yet again. Good evening. I'm Tony Kinnett. This is the Tony Kinnett Cast. And first up on our list is LeVar Burton. Now, LeVar Burton, he has a special place in a lot of individuals' hearts because LeVar Burton was on Star Trek. He wore the really cool, like, thin 1980s, like, Android glasses going on, and those were really cool. And from my childhood, he was the host of Reading Rainbow. And I liked Reading Rainbow because books are cool. And not only did I like Reading Rainbow because I think books are cool, but he explained why reading is important and why reading different kinds of literature is important. In fact, ironically, even though he's not really there now, he hasn't mentioned a piece of classic literature in like 15 years, he had a really great 3-episode series on the classics and like how to slowly step into reading the classics. It's one of my favorite things to watch. Now he's kind of dived into insanity. So you guys will remember that Pink, another celebrity, had made an announcement that she was going to go down to Florida in her tour and she was going to like give a bunch of books to children that were totally like banned. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they banned those books, those fascists. And yeah, it turned out none of the books were banned. But she got her posturing up, you know. No one's thought of Pink in like 10 years. But, you know, she got in front of the media. Oh, I'm so impressive because I'm giving out books that everyone already has access to. Well, now LeVar Burton is doing the main thing by getting up on stage and threatening to punch members of the group Moms for Liberty. Here's what that looked like.
Before we get going, are there any Moms for Liberty in the house? Moms for Liberty? No? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight.
And then everyone starts going crazy. Oh, he's so brave for saying he wants to beat women. Oh my goodness. Moms for Liberty has never advocated for any kind of a book ban, like he's accused them of. They have said that books like Genderqueer and other really inappropriate pieces of literature filled with, well, it's not literature, it's a comic book, filled with pornographic images shouldn't be in the elementary library, where it is in dozens, if not hundreds of schools across the country, as I have reported and cataloged, as well have several other great education journalists, a lot of whom are not on the right. But, we're going to do this thing where like a celebrity gets up and says, conservatives are bad. And then everyone's like, yes, you are brave. You are wonderful. And then they all, get on Zoom and they all sing Imagine because, the world is ending with COVID and everyone vomits because it's the worst thing musically produced. And it's not just the left. The right has its celebrities that equally suck. And of course, I'm talking about Kid Rock, who just showed up with Trump to a UFC fight. And I have a lot of problems with Kid Rock, mainly because he doesn't actually have like a series of principles, because he's a celebrity and doesn't have to. He just like gets out there and he says something and everyone's like, woo! And you may know Kid Rock recently because originally when Bud Light hired, the transgender individual Dylan Mulvaney to do this like Bud Light advertising campaign about, trans people and Bud Light go hand in hand and all of that. And everyone was like, how about no? Kid Rock originally posted F Bud Light and F Anheuser-Busch. And he was like, this is ridiculous. People don't want this. And the boycott largely worked. Anheuser-Busch lost huge amounts of money based on taking what used to be a beer sold to American kind of working class individuals, and they turned it into the woke beer of the 21st century. It's just so progressive, and people didn't want to buy it anymore, and so they didn't. And you had massive pallets of Bud Light just sitting on pallets everywhere because no one could sell it. There was a time when liquor stores could not give it away for free, which is just hilarious. And in fact, the boycott was so successful that finally, just Wednesday, it was reported that Anheuser-Busch's top marketing executive in the United States is set to depart the company. So we have not even finished out the year. And finally, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, has realized, maybe we should kind of go back to traditional marketing. And you actually saw this in similar ways with a couple of other companies. Heckler & Koch, the arms manufacturer out of Germany, realized this about half an hour after their social media person was stupid. And then they apologized and everyone bought lots of H&K firearms. Bud Light, it took them, how long has it been? Since April, March, or April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's taken them 8 months. Don't judge me for not knowing how many months it is between months. I hear you out there. None of that, please. It took them 8 months to learn that lesson. And it's taking Target, again, the same amount of time. But everyone still, we're all looking up to celebrities because now Kid Rock is saying that he doesn't want to be a part of the party of cancel cultures and boycotts that ultimately hurt working class people. So he's going back. He's saying, no, I'm not really for this Bud Light boycott anymore because it's really hurting the working class. No, the boycott is not hurting the working class. That's not how that works. The company made bad decisions, and the company is responsible for what those bad decisions do to its employees. If tomorrow Nike released an advertisement that was like, hey, we make our shoes with child labor. Oh, wait, they already make their shoes with child labor. If some other company, Chick-fil-A, if Chick-fil-A came out tomorrow and said, we make our chicken out of orphans, and then people stop buying Chick-fil-A because you're like, oh my God, I'm making your chicken out of orphans, then it's not the customer's fault for boycotting a business that makes bad decisions. It's Chick-fil-A's fault, for selling orphan meat. Now, thank God that isn't happening because Chick-fil-A is absolutely delicious. But in Anheuser-Busch's case, you know what? The good old boys who are working for that company who have been laid off, it's Anheuser-Busch's decision. You should have been able to figure out that the beer of the NFL and NASCAR that are billboards all over Indianapolis because the Bud Light's the official beer of the Indianapolis Colts, the transgender, super woke thing probably wasn't going to resonate with your audience. But again, we're going to have celebrities that make silly, goofy decisions. and are going to embarrass themselves in front of the whole world stage. And it's okay. In a couple of months, conservatives will have their next celebrity that they're going to look up to, because he'll get up in front of a crowd and he'll say something that's like kind of politically incorrect, kind of something that people have been saying. And then everyone will start up clapping like otters or seals. And there will be. And then a couple of months later, like Kanye West. Remember Kanye West? He came out and he was like, I think that Democrats are kind of racist sometimes. And everyone's like, wow, Kanye's so smart. And then a few months later, he's like, I don't think Hitler was all that bad. And everyone's like, oh my gosh. You don't have to take celebrities seriously. You don't have to listen to celebrities. You don't. They make money whether you like them or not. You don't have to listen to Taylor Swift's politics to enjoy her music. You don't have to. And Rob Kendall gets grief all the time for liking Bruce Springsteen. And Bruce Springsteen has just promised for the 86th time to move out of the United States if a Republican takes office in 2024. Now, he didn't last time, even though he said he would. But I mean, come on, you know how this works. So you don't have to. They can just be celebrity. They can just be actors. They can just be like musicians. You know how many problems Fleetwood Mac had? And yet their music is fantastic. You don't have to. I mean, that's how art goes. You enjoy the art. You don't have to get behind and, buy the t-shirt with their face on it. You don't have to enjoy them. This has been going on forever. Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger? Everyone's like, oh, he's a Republican. And he's like, I want to make sure the children are trans. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, maybe he's not a Republican. Just saying, you don't have to hold celebrities up on a pedestal. Well, up next, I am finally going to take to task Applebee's. The fight's been brewing for months. They've had it coming. And it is time to finally put things on the table. Applebee's, you've got it coming. Up next on the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
When I was a boy, I used to have an affinity for professional wrestling. I was always a fan of the bad guy managers, and I used to tell my dad, I said, someday I will make them love to hate me. And I feel like at 39 years old, as I near my 40th birthday, I have achieved my life's ambition as I have made them love to hate me.
Kendall and Casey, weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but hate to paint? Do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating, better than paint.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
Our 25% off special is now extended through December. Plus, receive a free game console just by having Rhino Shield applied by spring of 2024.
It was done in 2001. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Remember, you have until the end of December to receive 25% off. Plus, get your job done by spring of 2024 and receive a free game console. Restrictions apply. Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When your health is complicated, it's important that your health insurance is not. That's why CareSource offers affordable marketplace plans with a premium network that helps you stay healthy. In addition to doctor visits, emergency services, hospital care, and prescription benefits, we also provide dependable coverage for chronic conditions like diabetes, too. To learn more about our marketplace health plans, visit caresource.com/marketplace. CareSource, we got you.
In Indiana, basketball is a family thing. That's why we are ramped up to have Lucas Oil Family Night return to Gamebridge Fieldhouse this season.
He's got family in Kokomo. That might have been from Howard County.
Enjoy a game night full of family-friendly experiences and high-octane Pacers action.
Pull-up three from Matherin is perfect.
The next Lucas Oil Family Night with your Pacers is Sunday at 5 against the Orlando Magic. Family Night tickets include a Pacers hat, hot dogs, chips, and a soft drink. Get your tickets at Pacers.com/family. Pacers Magic, Sunday at 5.
The
best values of the year are this weekend at Diamonds Direct. Save an extra 20% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, designer jewelry. It's our biggest and final store-wide sale of 2023, and we're holding nothing back. Shop early for Christmas and get the year's best value prices. Thousands of engagement rings on sale too. Plus special financing. This is the big one with in-store designer appearances all weekend, including Sunday. Get all the details now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Give family a call for your family maintenance plan, 317-577-8077. Maintenance is crucial.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Head to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra on December 26th at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Go to WIBC.com for more info.
It's the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC.
All right. We've been dancing around each other in the ring for the last couple of weeks. And look, the gloves have finally got to come off. We got to talk about Applebee's here for a moment. You're listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast on 93 WIBC. Allison, are you out there on that great board over in Indianapolis?
I am. How you doing, Tony?
I am just stellar because it's finally time to put this to rest. When you were in college, did you ever go to Applebee's for like half-price appetizers? You remember that when they used to do like appetizer deals?
Absolutely. It was really late at night too, right? And then they also had $1 margaritas, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Like it used to be so nice to go out. They had a deal. Like there was a reason to go to Applebee's. It was like, yeah, we're going to go there and we're going to get some like really cheap appetizers. We're going to hang out with our friends for like 5 hours. And the staff hated it. I went to college up in Watertown, Wisconsin, and like the staff, whenever a pack of us would walk in around 8:30 or 9, there would be groans from the staff. And I feel you. But, by the time we were done, we learned to tip well and stop being, Neanderthals. It was a good experience, and they took it away. They have taken that away. And I got to tell you, Al, here's why this bothers me to no end. Have you ever heard that Applebee's is basically just the frozen section of your local Kroger?
Yes, I have heard that, yeah.
Because it's true. I went back just a couple of weeks ago and I looked at the menu. By the way, the menu is a lot smaller. Like COVID shrunk all of these menus down in restaurants everywhere, and they've never gone back to being like a Midwestern diner where they have every food known to man. But like Applebee's really is. And I went to Kroger after I ate at Applebee's, and I looked at the menu. And then I looked at, I had like the QR codey thing. I looked at it on my phone, and I was walking down the Kroger freezer aisle because, I'm not going to like help my wife shop in a grocery store. I left her on her own because, I make poor decisions. But I was looking at the freezer aisle, and I swear Stouffer's is just the Applebee's menu. Like copy and pasted, the whole thing.
Or arguably better.
It really, because I can have, the portion sizes are bigger. That, like that Louisiana style fried, that Bourbon Street steak and chicken, that seasoning, like they literally sell it at Kroger and you get more of it. Oh, it bothers me. And the other restaurants, they're not doing too hot either. And the reason that this entire segment is even around is because 2 economic reports were released 2 weeks ago, which suggest that those like almost fast food restaurants like Applebee's, Bob Evans, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, P.F. Chang's, those are all like falling out of favor. Like Gen Z and millennials aren't going to those restaurants anymore because the frozen section is better and they're just not offering anything original. Like the fast food restaurants, they're always reinventing themselves. They're adding new things to the menu. They're doing really cool things to bring people in. But I mean, like Olive Garden is just Italian Applebee's. Are you an Olive Garden fan, Allison?
I like Olive Garden, but I will say I would prefer going to a legit like Italian restaurant like Sal's or Irena's or something.
Or even if you're going to change, like I'd go to like Maggiano's.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd even go to Buca before I would go, or I would even go back to Fazoli's. Fazoli's, I think is better than Olive Garden because I think their breadsticks are better. I'm sorry. I know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Olive Garden also used to have like 8 soups. Now they have like 2. And I swear one of them is just whatever was left over in the sink. It's awful. It's horrible.
I do agree. The menus particularly are definitely shrinking in those kind of places. It's not like fast food, but it's not like fancy dining. It's in the middle. And I think like you said, kids just want to go to fast food or do DoorDash or just go to the freezer section. It's just easier and honestly cheaper.
It is. And also like these fast food restaurants like have gimmicks. Like again, like Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, they have like the sauce and the really good chicken. Even at KFC, honestly, they've got good stuff too, which reminds me, according to a new statistics report, China has 7,900 KFC restaurants. The USA only has 4,062 KFC restaurants. So Joe Biden needs to do something this instant. This is unacceptable. KFC is one of the best fast food restaurants. I mean, it's delicious. It really is. And honestly, look, you got Red Lobster, which is seafood Applebee's. You got Bob Evans, which is like the country Applebee's. You have P.F. Chang's, the slightly Asian Applebee's. And then there's Texas Roadhouse, Allison. Are you a Texas Roadhouse fan?
I like the rolls, but it's not something I go towards frequently, to be honest.
I'm going to drop the bomb here. Texas Roadhouse is not in the same category because it feels like Texas Roadhouse makes all of their food. It's not just freezer food. Now it's a steakhouse, yeah, and obviously it kind of has that one up on everyone else. But whereas like the other restaurants are just putting freezer food on a plate, Texas Roadhouse, on the other hand, they make all of their food in the restaurant. And I got to tell you, I appreciate that because I'm tired of getting gypped at restaurants like Applebee's. Quit going to Applebee's. And if you're out there, CEO of Applebee's, you can fight me because your food's terrible and your service, it just ain't great anymore, man. Bring back half-price appetizers. The people are hurting in this economy. We need real solutions, man.
That's really what this is all about, is the half-priced apps, isn't it?
I'm still upset about it. And at least those places are better than those burger restaurants that charge you like $27 for a burger with all the exposed pipes on the ceiling. Yeah, we're coming for those next week. Thank you very much for listening to the Tony Kinnett Cast this week. We'll see you Monday. You have been listening on 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's the season of thankfulness, and I'm really thankful for the talented professionals at Zero Res who've kept my floors and ductwork so very clean this year.